Hey everyone, it's Dawn. Hope you're doing well. I just decided to make this video. This is kind of impromptu because I have been having this conversation on Facebook with some of my friends about this video that was released a few days ago concerning the bus driver who punched the girl who was belligerent on, the bus. And um, and I have to say, I'm kind of like shocked and discouraged to a certain extent about some of the comments I've heard, about it. And you know what? People have kind of been all over the place with it. Um, okay, maybe not all over the place. On one or two sides concerning this video. Either, folks are like, she deserved it, she got, she was asking for it, and so she got what she deserved. Or, men should just really not hit women regardless of the situation. So, I actually did not watch this video. I think it's been out for probably 3 or so days now, and I purposely didn't watch it because I just don't like watching stuff like that. So I just stayed away from it. But today, I did break down and watch it. And I have to say, I mean, I'm just curious to know what other people saw when they looked at this video. Because for the most part, what I really saw was disturbing and saddening. Number one, I was disturbed by the fact that, this girl, young girl, just kind of embodied all of the negative things that are said about young women, especially young women of color who reside in urban communities, right? So she just embodies all of the, you know, negative sort of um, connotations and stereotypes associated with those girls. So it was just sad to kind of see this blow up in a viral video and have that representation out there. And some of I run an organization for girls, so for me it's even more disheartening as a result of that, right? So it makes my job even harder. Um, but the other thing that really bothered me about it was, and there were three things. So the second thing that really bothered me about it was the man. So this is, the bus driver. He's this older, seasoned bus driver. In church, instead of calling folks, older, they call them seasoned saints. So he's seasoned. And I just thought it was really disturbing that he kind of fell in it, and I don't know how all this started, but the point of the video where I saw, they were going back and forth, kind of trading insults and stuff like that with one another, right? And she was aggressive towards him, and he was verbally aggressive towards her and talking about her as well. So I saw a situation where there was some conflict, and it was just disappointing to me that our elders and our elder men, didn't handle that situation, better. Why be pulled into, a kind of conversation with a fool? And that girl in that situation, she may not be a fool, but she acted like one. She really didn't present herself in the best way possible. And who knows what was going on in her life, but that was not a good moment for her. But it was just saddening to see, this seasoned gentleman, kind of, being pulled into a situation like that and responding like just as immaturely as she did. Especially when in my work, and I'm probably looking at this kind of through the lens of the work I do, right? So, for me, it's always about, girls having the opportunity to engage with men who don't want anything from them, right? Other than to enrich their lives. Because a lot of times, girls don't have opportunities to engage, with men who don't want anything from them. Who want to be a father figure, or just, representation of a man in your school, in your church, on your bus, wherever that is a positive depiction. So it was just disturbing to me that this gentleman really kind of um, displayed kind of the very worst of manhood, in my opinion. And he stooped to this girl's level. So that was disturbing, along with him hitting her, which is a whole other thing. Okay, so then the third thing that was really disturbing to me were the people on the bus. Like nobody on that bus, or maybe there were folks. The camera was not pointed toward the bus, but there was so much instigation from the the folks on the bus. And there was a time where if a young person was out of pocket, other folks on a bus or in that environment didn't react that way. There wasn't a kind of culture where folks felt like, yeah, we're going to instigate this like we're on a grade school playground. But there was just a lack of maturity and a lack of respect. And just, when we think about just our society and our cultural norms and how we treat one another, and how we interact with one another in an environment like that, or whether it's on the street or whether it's in a building, wherever we are. It's just like, there isn't that feeling that causes someone to kind of check themselves because the behavior isn't a social norm. So in that situation, it was almost like it was a social norm. It was expected. It was okay. And, lack of respect, lack of civility, lack of respect, men toward women, lack of respect, young people toward elders is okay and being co-signed by us culturally, or at least the culture of folks on that bus. It bothers me. It's like, God, where are we going as a society? And so that was really disturbing to me. But, okay, so the last thing, and this is really sort of related to the man's behavior, kind of in that situation, the bus driver's behavior. So, okay, she did whatever he did. They're saying there are conflicting reports that perhaps she choked him or hit him, and said she was going to spit on him or did spit on him, what have you. After that happened, after, whatever situation was reached, he got up and he, postured like he was Red Fox, somebody on Sanford and Son. And then, of course, we all know how that ended. He hit her. And I just found that to be unacceptable. I recognize that this girl was completely disrespectful to him. And I'm just talking about her behavior, not his, because he was also disrespectful toward her in terms of how he handled that conflict and just the back and forth of, talking about one another. But recognizing she was disrespectful to him, recognizing she was way out of control, way out of pocket. I recognize that. But I also think that, in terms of the messages we send to men about acceptable, behavior, becomes skewed in situations like this. As a result of situations like, in my opinion, Chris Brown and Rihanna. I work with girls every day who think it's okay for a boy to push them or to curse them out or to disrespect them because they're angry. And so it bothers me when I hear women say, well, it was okay for him to hit her. She was out of pocket. She disrespected him, or, you know, uh, she got what she had coming to her, and she, ticked him off or whatever. Because that's the same excuse abusers give to girls for hitting them. So it sends a mixed message to girls about acceptable behavior. And I have a real problem with women in particular saying it's okay under any circumstances for a man to hit them. That's just not okay to me. And I'll go a step further to say if you are a man, then you choose to be a man. And you can't simply pick and choose those occasions in which you're going to call yourself a man. So if you are truly a man, then you have to handle situations of conflict as a man should handle them. And that doesn't mean that you attack a woman who you probably outweigh by over 100 pounds, because we know that girl wasn't more than a buck 05, and he looked like he was probably 200 something pounds. He's, much, you know, appeared to be much stronger than her. He certainly manhandled her, so he didn't just hit her as a response, but he dragged her, and he said, no, if she want to act like a man, I'm beat her like so it was about him feeling that it was okay to attack this girl, probably because she disrespected him. But you know what? We send the message to kids that it's okay for them to fight because somebody said, your mama, or you ugly, or your shoes run over, or, whatever the insult is. And the reality is, we're giving them license to give people who are insignificant, we're allowing them to have a significant impact on our lives. Because if we fight, for instance, if that man had hit that girl and her head snapped back and she, hit her head and had a concussion, went into a coma, if she hit her temple and died, if he threw her, off of the bus into a dangerous situation, she got hit by, another car because he chose to handle that situation violently like that, that instant could have had a significant impact on the rest of his life. And at this point, we don't know if this man is going to lose his job or his pension. He's been a bus driver for 30 something years, 5 years away from retirement. And he let that girl, who really is insignificant, he probably would not have seen her again past, the 15 minutes she would have been on the bus. Allowing that person to have that significant of an impact on your life, to me, is a poor choice. And it's a poor choice as a man, because you have probably a family to support. You've paid into and earned this pension that you could potentially lose out on, that will impact your future earning potential now as a senior. It just seems stupid. And the thing is, because it's hard for kids, because I know I'm going all over the place, you all, but I'm just very emotional about this, and this bothers me to no end because I see it every single day. We talk about kids and their lack of respect, their lack of civility, their inability to control themselves, their inability to navigate conflict, them wanting to shoot up, a whole McDonald's because somebody stepped on their gym shoe, or because, that boy said something about him a few days before, and so now he gonna come back and get him. We say all these things are wrong, and we reprimand and we, berate children for acting out this way when they're doing nothing but reflecting the actions of adults they see within their community. I mean, think about how many times you see adults interact with a lack of civility, a lack of respect, not only for other people, but for themselves. I mean, they have the audacity to behave like that in public. I saw it several times today, just at one school, one school, and these were parents. So, as a society, we talk about how bad our neighborhoods are, we talk about how bad our kids are, but you know what? It's difficult for kids to demonstrate proper, manners, proper behavior when they're not seeing it demonstrated around them, and when other adults co-sign poor behavior. That man should have gotten on his little bus phone and he should have called the little bus police. I see them riding around. I live in Chicago, okay, or the Chicagoland area. So I'm in the city a lot and on the surrounding areas. And in both those situations, whether it's the suburbs or whether it's the city of Chicago, there are transit police everywhere. There are regular police everywhere. So that man, when she initially started that conversation, he should not have escalated the situation, because that's what happened. When I saw the opening of the video, I was like, there's no way this is going to end well, because, this adult and this child, they're both acting like 2 year olds. And instead of de escalating the conflict, they're both escalating it. And so at some point, it's going to blow up. And that's exactly what it did. And so when videos like this go viral and, when children see that this is how we resolve conflict, of course they follow suit. And I just don't think it's okay. So I think I have so many issues with this video on so many levels. I have an issue as a woman from a domestic violence perspective. Again, I work with a number of girls who think violence is okay, not only because they see it manifested in their homes, but because their thinking is that, if he, hits me, it's okay because he's angry. And if I get mad about it too, then we'll just fall out and we'll get back together. And that means that we're just truly in love. So many girls I work with mistake the true love for a cycle of abuse. You would not believe it. So I have an issue with women co-signing on this man hitting this girl. I have an issue with it as a parent, in terms of what we're passing along to youth around appropriate social behavior between men and women, and even adults and children who, he's not an authority figure over her. He's a bus driver, certainly, but I have an issue with it from that perspective. The message we're sending in terms of, as adults, the example we provide to youth regarding how to de-escalate conflict without it resorting to violence. I would have got her off my bus quick, fast, and in a hurry. I wouldn't. Okay. So I have an issue from that perspective. And then I just have an issue from the perspective of, just, again, men and how, what we say to one another, what we say to ourselves, and the message we're sending regarding appropriate behavior between men and a woman when it comes to violence. Um, and then lastly, just I have a real issue with this culture we're creating within our communities around violence, where and around disrespectful behavior, where it seems to have become so commonplace that, if you're doing something wrong and it's wrong and disrespectful, and that girl knew what she was doing was wrong and disrespectful. But the fact that we've not created enough community or enough social um, cohesiveness and togetherness, that she would feel a level of discomfort speaking with him like that, and that the behavior would actually, by the surrounding members of our society, actually encourage that. It bothers me on so many levels, and I just wonder what you guys feel about it. I know I've gone on a rant. I'm not going to even edit this video. I'm gonna just put it out there, and I would just love to know what you guys think about this topic. So thank you for listening. I just had to get that off my chest, y'all. All right, take care. Bye.